And we back. Today we're continuing our one from every team series, and we're doing one underrated player from every team. Personally, my definition of underrated is a player who is better than their public's perception. The public thinks he's on this level, but really I think he's like on this level or on this level. And not every team necessarily has an underrated player. So some of these are a bit stretched so I can include every NBA team because I want everybody to feel equal around here, okay? But let's get to our first team. With the 76ers, they have a couple different guys that you can consider underrated. Robert Covington, Dario Saric. But personally, I went with JJ Redick. There's a reason why JJ Redick has not missed the playoffs in his entire career, because he is a very, very effective player. Because he is such a great shooter, he has a Steph Curry effect on a lesser note, where if he's on the court, the defense has to find him 100% of the time. And when you have him running back and forth off screens, it opens up so much more for his team. And again, he's not just a shooter. He's a pretty good team defender. So because of that, I'm going to say he's underrated. He's had the best year of his career too. Hopefully he can top that and continue to help Philly win. Next is Chris Middleton. Now, Chris Middleton has got a little bit of buzz based off last year's playoffs, which he averaged like 27 points per game, shooting 60%. So the public finally gets to see that Chris Middleton is a very, very good player. I've been on the Chris Middleton bandwagon for a few years now, and I'm happy to see that more people are noticing. But the reason I would still say he's underrated is because when you look at people are ranking their top shooting guards in the league, he gets overlooked a bit. And personally, I think he is the perfect second option. When I'm watching him play, very rarely do I see Chris Middleton make a bonehead play, take a shot that maybe he shouldn't have. He understands he is the second option, and he defends very, very well. So Chris Middleton, extremely underrated. Continue to work well, Chris. I'm rooting for you. With the Chicago Bulls, I got Chris Dunn. When he was traded to Chicago, the buzz around here from the average fan or most fans is that Chris Dunn was not going to be an effective player. Based on his rookie season, he had one of the worst rookie seasons in the history of the league for a lottery player. But in his year number 2, he stepped it up and he turned into a legitimate starting point guard in his league, and that is beautiful. When you look at people talking about the Bulls, they mostly talk about Jabari, Laurie, and Zach, but you got to show some respect to Chris Dunn as well. Now, with the Cavaliers, I have Kevin Love. Now, Kenny, how could Kevin Love be underrated if he's their best player? Here's my argument for it. When he was traded to Cleveland, he had to transform his game. He went from being the guy, the number one guy, averaging 25 points per game in Minnesota, to being a third option. Basically, he got the Chris Bosh treatment. Playing with LeBron James is difficult, so we're going to need you to sit right here, knock down the shot. LeBron is going to get you open because he's so great and nobody can guard him. Knock down his shot. And that's what Kevin Love did for a couple years. But now with Kyrie gone and LeBron James gone, Kevin Love is the focal point of a team again. And I think he's going to do a pretty good job. I'm not saying they're going to be good or great, or I don't know. But Kevin Love himself is so much more than the third option we saw and the second option we saw for the past couple years. With the Celtics, it's Al Horford. The average fan will look at his numbers and don't think he's an all-star caliber player or a max contract type of player, but he definitely is. He's averaging 13 points per game, but he does so much more. He's one of the best passing bigs in the league. He's one of the best defending bigs in the league. With the Clippers, I have Tobias Harris. He's got this trend going on in his career where each individual year he gets better and better. And I think that's a great thing. Well, I was really looking at this roster. I was like, who is the focal point of their team? When you're buying tickets to the Clippers, what NBA player is on your ticket? Is it Tobias Harris? I don't really know. With the Grizzlies, it's Mike Conley. It kind of always has been Mike Conley. When we talk about underrated players, Mike Conley is usually close to the top of the list. But it's mostly because he struggles with staying healthy. But when he is healthy, he is a great player. He's one of the clutchest players in the league. So it's just a matter of if he can stay healthy. With the Hawks, it's John Collins. When you look at the 2017 draft class, there are a lot of hard-hitting names. But a name that's commonly overlooked is John Collins. He had a pretty solid rookie season, and based on that and based on what I saw in Summer League this year, I think this year is about to be pretty good for him. It's not a lot going on in Atlanta, so the Trae Young John Collins show is going to start up, and hopefully it'll give the fans something to look forward to. With the Miami Heat, it is Josh Richardson. And it's not even close. He is one of the most underrated players in the league. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in his league, and he's so underrated that he only got 3 votes for the all-defensive team. If you watch Miami Heat play, you know that guy can clamp down. So only 3 votes is kind of disrespectful for him. Now, the reason he is underrated, he was underrated by his own coaching staff, all right? College, he plays very well. And when he was drafted, there was a little bit of buzz behind Malik Monk. And then he comes into the league, and he doesn't play much. which is weird because it's not like they are winning games. So why are you not playing your younger players? But this year he came into Summer League and immediately started lighting it up, and then he got injured, so he only played one game. But I think the buzz, because it's like the Hornets, the buzz for Malik Monk is back positive. With the Jazz, it's Joe Ingles, man. I became a fan of Joe Ingles in the 2017 playoffs when they were playing against the LA Clippers, and Joe Ingles was guarding JJ Redick. He was doing a pretty good job of it. Y'all know JJ Redick is, again, one of those players that come off screens here and there. He travels some of the largest distance on the court, which means that he's always running, trying to get open. But Joe Ingles clamped that down. And Joe Ingles is not an athletic player, really. You know, he caught a body a couple times, but he's not really an athletic player. But he turns out to be a good defender just by having high IQ, and not to mention, he knocks down those shots too. With the Kings is Willie Cauley-Stein. Now, the reason I'm saying he's underrated because not many people watch the Kings. Let's be real. Personally, I didn't watch the Kings that much. But he reminds me of a young Tyson Chandler, and that's a good thing. I would honestly say he's probably their best player right now, which is saying something. But they're heading in the right direction, hopefully, with their draft pick this year. But underrated player, Willie Cauley-Stein. With the Knicks is Tim Hardaway Jr. When people talk about the Knicks and their core, their young core, they always talk about Kristaps. They're going to talk about Frank Ntilikina, now Kevin Knox, and Mitchell Robinson, right? Tim Hardaway Jr. is only 25 years old, and he's had huge games in this league already. He's only 25 years old, and he's under contract for at least until 2021. So y'all should be including him in y'all core players because he is one of y'all core players. I mean, sure, y'all can trade him and everything, but he's still one of your core players, and he's pretty solid too. The guy can score the ball. The Lakers is Josh Hart. Now, the reason I picked Josh Hart is because all the projections this year are saying that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would start for the Lakers at the shooting guard position, but honestly, if I was Luke Walton, I'm going to have Josh Hart start, and he just seems like a better fit as far as a better shooter than Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and with LeBron James, I think he's going to excel with having shooters and everything. Maybe halfway through the season or after a couple games, Luke Walton decides to go with Josh Hart, but the way he played in the Summer League, it is no doubt that the guy has a very bright future. The Magic is Evan Fournier. He scores the ball pretty well. For the Mavericks one, I had no idea, so I asked Twitter, because again, I didn't watch much Dallas Mavericks last year. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. But people are saying Dwight Powell. So I went into it and looked up Dwight Powell, look at all his stats and everything. Did y'all know he's one of the best pick and roll rollers in the league? Like, he's like number 3. I had no idea that he was so good on the pick and roll. So shout out to Dwight Powell. I'm going to be watching more Dallas Mavericks this year, of course, now that they got Luka, and I really want to see how he's going to play. So maybe I'll see that Dwight Powell that people are saying is the most underrated player on their team. With the Nets, I went with DeMarre Carroll, and it's mostly because he can guard like 4 out of the 5 possessions, guards very well, and forwards. And for a while, we saw him as overpaid, which may be still somewhat true, but he's showing his value in Brooklyn. With the Nuggets, there are a few players you could have went with. Personally, I went with Isaiah Thomas. I think the general public turned on him just after one bad season. And there are a lot of things that went into it. We don't want to give him excuse or anything, but he had a bad season. But 2 years ago, he was an MVP candidate. I don't think he'll ever get back to MVP candidate-like. But as a 6th man, I think Isaiah Thomas is a beautiful, beautiful 6th man for almost any team in this league. Yeah, he may be the worst defender in the league, like not even exaggerating. He may be the worst defender in the league, but offensively, he got it. And as a 6th man, he got it. Pacers, I went with Bojan Bogdanovic. Y'all remember that one game in the playoffs where he dropped, I want to say like close to 40 against the Cleveland Cavaliers? Yeah. That guy can score. With the Pelicans, I'm going to still go with Jrue Holiday. He has been underrated for a few years now, but I think the world kind of saw how good he can be in the playoffs last year. But honestly, I would still say he's underrated. I guess I forgot about the Pistons. I'm going to go with Ish Smith. He kind of got this reputation of when his starting point guard goes down, he comes in and he ends up playing sometimes better than his starting point guard. With the Raptors, I went with Pascal Siakam. Rumor has it that the San Antonio Spurs wanted him instead of Jakob Poeltl, but the Toronto Raptors like, nah, that's our guy, so they didn't trade him. Super underrated. Rockets, it is PJ Tucker. He is the perfect wing player for the Houston Rockets, and he just thrives so well in that system. Spurs, I went with DeJounte Murray. Because people see him and be like, man, the guy doesn't pass the ball just because he averaged 2.5 assists or something last year. But with the Spurs, the ball is swinging so much, or you got an isolation on the block with LaMarcus Aldridge. There's not a lot of assists for a singular person, at least. And He's one of the best defending point guards in the league. With the Suns, it's TJ Warren. Last year, he averaged 19 points per game pretty silently because he's on the Suns and everything. But he reminds me of like a early 2000s player where he shoots a lot of mid-range jumpers and everything, but he can ball. With the Thunder, it's Andre Roberson. Sure, he can't shoot. He doesn't score the ball well, but he's one of the best defenders in the league. If he plays in a playoff series against the Utah Jazz, that series could have been different. He could have been the guy to stop Donovan Mitchell from averaging 27 on their head in that playoff series. I just know that once they lost him, kind of the defense that we had saw the entire season went down a little bit. And this year he comes back, and I think things are going to be better for him. Timberwolves is Taj Gibson. Who else could it be? Pretty good defender, rebounds the ball well, plays 100%, and now this year he stretched his range a little bit and he shot some threes. Come on, man. Taj Gibson in his older age is having career years. It's not the more I can ask for. Blazers is Al-Farouq Aminu for the similar reason that I said about DeMarre Carroll. He can guard a lot of positions on the court, and then he's got that PJ Tuckerness where he's sitting that corner or that wing position and he actually knocks down threes now. Warriors is Sean Livingston. He may be the best bench point guard in the league because he knows his role. He knows what he can do and he knows what he can't do. What he can do is post up smaller guards and hit turnaround shots on them. One thing he can do is shoot threes, so he doesn't attempt threes. And lastly, the Washington Wizards, Otto Porter completed one thing I thought was never possible: overpaid and underrated in the same time. And that is it. Honestly, I think this went a lot longer than some of the other one from every team series, but let me know if you like the longer ones where I kind of sit down and explain a little bit more in depth, or do you like the shorter ones where I give you the name, give you a reason that we head out. So it's all about experiments, and I guess if you got to this point, there had to be something you enjoyed about it. So leave it a like and comment down below. Roses are red. I'm literally looking at a bouquet of roses, so that's why. Nobody's gonna know what it means unless you got to this point in the video. But thank y'all so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.